Would the minute taker please call the roll?
Alderman Woods.
Here.
Alderman Lazara.
Here.
Alderman Winger.
Here.
Alderman Eugene Wesley. Alderman Sizmarsky.
Here.
Alderman Shockey.
Here.
Alderman Coles.
Here.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Oh, I'm here.
First item is an approval of minutes of the meeting of October 11th. Anybody have any questions about it, comments? I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item, report and recommendation on what is called a pool/sprinkling credit. Does somebody want to make a comment or statement on this before I throw it out? Oh, yes, Mr. Roy Wesley, Alderman Roy Wesley.
Are we gonna get suggestions from staff on this, or do we just throw out suggestions? I did read the memo of the policies that we have.
Well, as staff said, there would have to be a blind acceptance that high usage is due to flaws in the sewer, and the high bills this summer can be a direct result of leaky faucets, broken pipes, general neglect that would not warrant a waiver to the sewer portion of the bill. Does that answer your question?
No. I talked to Brad about this earlier yesterday. And I think I'm asking, we're trying to do here, I'm thinking that if you fill your pool up, you're being charged sewer. You water your lawn, you put down new sod, you're being charged sewer. And it's not going in the sewer. If you fill in a pool, it's going in the pool. So that's what this is. Am I getting to the right thing here, Brad?
Correct. That was kind of the impetus of the conversation, correct?
Well, that's true.
Okay.
But
So I'm looking to give, if someone's wondering if they got new sod, I want to try to come up with a program here where they could get a meter. We could charge them a fee for staff time to go out there, read the meter before, and then read it afterwards, and just charge them for the water usage and not the sewer on sod or filling a pool.
let me get something straight here, if I may. We've talked about this before. I've brought it up before a number of times to help the seniors who are on a fixed budget, whose bills are going up all the time, but their income stays the same. And nobody wanted to do this. Now, you want to give a break to somebody who's got a swimming pool? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Or somebody puts in some sod? I mean,
What you're mixing it two different things here.
well, sure, they're two different things. One is helping out somebody who needs help. The other one is helping out people that have a swimming pool.
And in return, we do give a discount for seniors already. Correct, Brett?
If they meet certain criteria, correct, we do.
Right? And with if a person if a senior person's taking a shower, of course it's going through the sewer or the sink or anything. With a pool, it's not going through the sewer. I'm talking sewer charges here. I'm not talking water usage. I'm talking sewer rates. So it's the same amount. So it's two different things of what you're saying here.
Personally, I think it'd be taking up a lot of staff time running out there and figuring out how much water they're dumping on the street into the regular lines, sewer lines, or the ones that don't go through the homes. Anybody else? Mr. Art Woods.
As far as the pool, I mean, we already have the option to get a meter and fill up from the fire hydrant, which is cheaper. You can actually buy the water outside of the community and have a guy come in a truck, and depending on where you're at, a lot of times that's even cheaper than buying the water from the city itself. So the pool issue, I think, can be solved. The only thing for me in question then is watering the grass, and really that's kind of, an option of whether you want to water it or not. I mean, it's not mandatory that you water your grass, although I get that you want to keep it. You can also get another meter. I mean, I would be in favor of reducing any costs to get that meter, so somebody could split the meter and meter it to water the grass if they're going to do it quite a bit, but to be able to try to go there before, read the meter, and then the month, you'd have to do that every month because they're going to be watering the grass. I mean, they'd have to get another meter, and I'd be in favor of reducing the cost to do that for them, but I don't know how else you could do it.
But at the same time, it was too much trouble to do billing for seniors to give them a break on the first 2,000 gallons, wasn't it? I have a friend who is a landscaper. He tells me it's not good to water in the dry weather. Sod, yes, new sod. But other than that, how many people are putting in sod? I mean, how much do you need? Go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
On the side comment, over the last couple of years, we've had people come in that either had a new home built over in, was it Arbor Woods, or even a couple people around town have had to redo their yards for whatever reason. And they've come in and they've talked to us ahead of time, and we've just applied the national average for people per house per month and used that as a basis for charging them water and sewer. And then we've gone ahead and helped them out with the sewer, knowing that it was sod. We did have, the guy from Public Works go out and look to make sure that there was a brand new house or something like that. So, and that ties into the sprinkling permit. We did have them get the extended sprinkling permit so that we knew that they were going to be watering more.
So those people are already getting a break.
If they come and ask, then we do try and work with them. Unfortunately, it's a completely voluntary program right now, so if they don't come and ask, we don't know about it.
When we could call some residents, we might let them know about that. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Frank.
As a pool owner, when you own a pool and you have it up for many years, you don't ever really drain it. When you close it below the skim. So you might be losing, maybe at the very most 500 gallons, depending on the size of your pool. I have 10,000 gallons. The only time that you're going to be purchasing a lot of water is when you first set up your pool. So throughout the year, you put more water into your pool because it disappears. But as far as needing to have 10,000 gallons, every year, that won't ever happen. I mean, especially at the price of what water costs today. So I can see maybe if someone is setting up a pool, because like Art said, I actually went outside and bought water from a tanker. It was water it was Fox River water. And it was cheaper for me to do that than to buy my own water. I mean, it would be nice if we had something like that they would say, okay, I'm putting in a pool or I'm setting up a pool, give the city a call. That one-time shot, they got 10,000 gallons without having to be charged the sewer. That would make sense to me. But for everyday use, that would be hard to monitor because I know what I do. And that it'd be crazy. I mean, sometimes I have the hose running, and at the same time, we're taking showers and we're doing other things with the water. How do you know what water to be used as sewer and what water isn't? I mean, that wouldn't make any sense. To me, I can see maybe a one-time shot, they come in, they show us that they just bought a pool, and we give them that 10,000 gallon break from going into the sewer. That would
You get
be,
any free swimming fish when the water came in from Fox?
no, I have a pond, I have the fish in the pond.
Oh, okay, good. Alderman Mike,
Yeah, being a pool owner also, I know other towns do this. I'm not in favor of purchasing all these meters either to add something else to someone's house. Other towns do go out and let the fire departments fill their pool. They have a meter that goes on the hydrant. You can charge them accordingly that way too and have the fire department meter it. I don't know if they'd be willing to do it, but I know other towns do that. So that's something to look into too, instead of purchasing these meters. So.
I think we do have a program, something like that, don't we? Mr. Wilson?
There's an adapter on there that,
Yeah, I know there's adapter for the fire hydrants. I don't know specifically if our fire district does any of that, but there is the adapter for the fire hydrants to meter it. Correct. I think that's number 3 on mine. To rent it from us currently, it's a $900 deposit to rent the meter. I don't know if you get the fire district to do it. Probably wouldn't be nearly as drastic as $900. But since they're separate taxing body, I don't know if they would even entertain that or not. I don't know.
Frank, when you had the pool filled, what was the cost the first time?
The tanker that I had, 10,000 gallons, was $200.
So that's a lot cheaper than the,
That's a lot cheaper, yeah. So that's why I went outside and had them bring it over.
sounds more logical to me.
Yeah, and it was water from Fox River.
That's where the fish came in.
That's where the fish came from.
Alderman Winger.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, what's involved in implementing the second meter should someone want that to water or fill their pool? Is it a big undertaking to add on a second meter for irrigation only?
I'll answer this as best I can without knowing the specific answer. The separate meter, we're nice in regards that we don't make them run a separate tap from the water main. You can simply tee off the line inside your house where your current meter is. So really the biggest inhibitor is making sure that you actually have room where your meter is to put in the tee and then to be able to plumb it appropriately to get to where you only want that single source to go. So I'm not going to say it's easy or not because it really depends on how your house is set up and where the lines are and stuff like that. But it would just be the cost of buying the meter and then having a plumber come in and do it. So presupposing that you have the space and the lines are set up accordingly, I wouldn't think it would really be that hard. But if you don't have a lot of space and they're not set up, then it could be kind of a nightmare, I would imagine.
What's the cost of a meter?
3/4 meter with the Orion right now is $217.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Brad, I gotta ask you something, and you know how much I wanna lower the water. When we went out for the bond and our permits for our loans through IEPA, we had to show them that we were making a specific amount of money. Is that correct?
Correct.
So if we start tampering with that, could we jeopardize our possible loan with the IEPA?
I don't know that there's that much that we would be waiving to do so. But I did put that caveat as the last paragraph of my memo, that if you were to change anything, I should have put significantly in there, then we would perhaps have to look at it. But, a couple new pools every year or something like that wouldn't cause that to go that route. I mean, if we're going to start cutting everybody's sewer bill in half, then it would. But to the extent that the conversation's been on, wouldn't really have any impact on that.
And basically, we have that, whatever it is, 60 cents or 62 cents coming up in January. If the council were to find some other method of coming up with some of that money, we can subsidize some of that increase and not pass it all on to the residents, right? Would that be an option? Because that's gonna come to the residents. 62 or 59 cents, whatever it is.
59 cents, and it's going to go all on the water portion of the bill.
Right. Right, but like last year, we had about 600,000 that we put into the general fund. I know we've used some of that money. We might have about 100,000 left. So there is some money to subsidize for a year or so, or depending, we might have more sales tax come in if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a policy decision that the 8, 9 of you would have to make when we bring that to you, probably next month.
Right.
I'll make one more comment. Alderman Wesley.
When you were mentioning about lawns, true, the lawn doesn't need much water when it's established. Sod is the one where you need most of it. Brad, if a person comes in and says they're gonna fill their pool, you mentioned about sprinkling the lawn and stuff for new sod. Are you willing to do the same thing for people that's filling their pool?
I'll generically answer that with yes, but then I'll throw the caveat in there. You know, we did have a couple people this summer come in and ask about getting a credit for filling their pool, and we were able to go back for the last 6 or 7 years and see that they did it every year, and the bump was in the exact same billing period every year, and so it vetted out the fact that they were probably filling up their pool. We did have one guy who had a new pool put in, you know, dug a new pool or put a new pool. I had him get the calculations for how big the pool was from his pool company, and you know, it turned out to be like 12,500 or 13,000. And so we waited until his next bill and saw that his bill went up by 14,000 gallons, which corroborated the theory that he put 13,000 of it into the swimming pool, and so we did help him out with that. But again, he had to go through a little legwork on his side to get to that point. But if they ask and they can prove it out and we can corroborate the numbers, then we do try and help them out.
There you go.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're doing that with the pools too, I don't have a problem with that.
And we can also ask anybody who's filling a new pool that they have a pool party for the aldermen and for city staff, maybe make up some of the different. Okay, let's, I'll make a motion that we, a recommendation that we
We
do
don't need a
not
motion. Do we
change
need a motion?
the pool sprinkling
Huh?
charges. Do I have a second?
I think we just need direction. I don't think we need a motion for this. Staff can handle
I said
this.
recommendation.
Okay.
Does anybody have an objection to that?
Manager.
Oh, no, you're gonna, okay. go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to add, perhaps if everybody agrees, maybe some more residents know about it. We make a point, when the spring season's approaching, we put a notice in the water bill saying, hey, if you have any, landscaping projects this summer, or you have a pool, make sure to notify the finance department, ahead of time. Makes the job a lot easier, and maybe stop by. That way, save staff time, and can do it that way. Be more
Good
proactive with
proactive
it.
idea.
Instead of having people come in and complain, hey, I did this, and do you have anything? Well, if we notify them ahead of time, it's probably easier.
Excellent. Okay, Mr. Alderman Artwoods.
How are you gonna handle that? If somebody comes in and I'm doing a landscape project, is that gonna be for the month you're gonna allow them and view it, at 2 months, the whole summer? I mean, what's the concept?
I think, like Alderman Wesley said, if there's like a major sod program, or, obviously they have a pool, make a note that, hey, make sure you check with City Hall, or remember, we do reimburse, come to City Hall, whatever. We can work out the verbiage later. The idea is just be a little bit more proactive in getting the word out instead of having people come in and complain about it then.
Could we, when we're working out that verbiage, maybe work out maximum dollar amount too? Might be a good thing. Like we've done that with all our programs. That might help a little bit.
Yeah, why don't we get some consensus and staff, and then we'll bring it to you kind of, in a memo packet or whatever, and we have time until the spring, and we'll figure it
Right.
out, and that's fine.
Thank you.
Good. So nobody's objecting? You have council recommendation then. Did we have another question?
As for city manager, you could also have Joe Johnson back check, go back and check to see if something's going on. Like if they're gonna do a sod, he can go out and double check. I mean, not that we're making it a code, but since he's in the area, he could always drive by that job.
All right, items to be considered for future meetings. Treasurer's duties due in November, audit presentation November, property tax levy November, December, 6-month review of the 2013 budget, November, December. The DWC rate increase, November, December. Property casualty discussion, November, December. CIP in January and budget scheduled for February for the year of 2014. Is there anything else to go on the agenda, Alderman Winger?
Thank you. I recently attended the Illinois Municipal League Conference, and in one of my sessions, a takeaway that I brought back is there was a discussion that U.S. Congress is contemplating removing the tax-free mechanism from a municipal bond. So muni bonds are, of course, attractive to purchasers due to their perceived safety and tax-free income. So if the tax-free income goes away, purchasers aren't going to be as enticed to want them, and it's going to make cities that much harder to issue bonds to do projects such as the water treatment plant and other improvements. So I'd like a discussion on that, and they mentioned they're urging municipalities to pass a resolution stating that we disagree with the approach to solve the deficit, and so I'd like to see a discussion of that.
Got that on the agenda for when?
When is reasonable?
I mean, really, we can do it at the next committee meeting if we want to. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward topic, so it's,
Okay.
it's pretty low, yeah.
All right, next meeting. And just two other items I'd like to mention, if I may. For those who have had their water meters changed recently, I'm sure they can attest to that. It's a very smooth, easy operation. We had ours done last week. Gentleman was very cordial, very nice. Took 10 minutes and he was all done. So if anybody's hesitating because somebody's going to come in the house, this gentleman has identification and will do it very quickly. And the other item is that I guess next week we probably will have the bugs worked out of the camera at the reservoir. And we will finally have a working camera, if I understand correctly. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's correct. They were actually installing it earlier this week. From what I've been told, it's pretty much done. We're kind of monitoring it now to make sure it works the way it's supposed to work, and we can put an update in the packet on it.
Took 2 years, but we finally got it. Very good. Any other items? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn the Finance and Administration Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
He's waiting. You're up.
Yeah, Eugene was gone. Let me call the Public Works Committee to order. Let the record reflect that all the members are here. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting October 11th, 2012. That is my motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Report and recommendation, pay request, partial number 5, Maxim Construction Corp. For the North Wastewater Treatment Upgrade Phase 1 project in a not-to-exceed amount of $434,749.16. That is my motion.
Second?
Can we take a roll call vote?
Alderman Woods,
Yes.
Alderman Lazara,
Yes?
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Coles, Alderman Roy Wesley.
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 5, report and recommendation, pay request partial number 3 to HR Green for the Irving Park Road, Wooddale Road intersection safety improvement Phase 2 in the not-to-exceed amount of $44,379.82. That is my motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Woods,
Yes.
Alderman Lazara,
Yes?
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Coles, Alderman Roy Wesley.
Yes.
That passes. Number 6, report and recommendation, pay request partial number 3 for Plody Construction, Inc. for the 2012 street improvement program in the not-to-exceed amount of $687,207.36. That is my motion.
Second?
Any questions? Alderman Roy Wesley?
How much is left on payment, for payment 4? I have a couple more here.
Well, counting the retainage that we're currently holding, which is about $80,000, there's probably about 300,000 plus or minus left for payment number 4, maybe a little bit less than 300,000.
Okay. Could I go on?
One more. Go ahead.
It's gonna be a lot more than. I see there's a lot of stuff to do on the punch list here. Their deadline is November 1st, I understand,
It's November 2nd, sir.
November 2nd. What happens if they're not done with the punch list?
At that point, the city has the option to start charging liquidated damages to the contractor for not completing the work on time.
At what dollar amount?
I think, yeah, I think it's about $1,700 a day.
Okay. I guess that's all the questions I get right now. Go ahead.
Alderman Coles? Do you have a question?
I got a question. On the sod, they laid down the sod. They brought the dirt even with the old sod that was there. Then they put the sod down and it's sticking up about that much higher than the grass. What's the scoop on that?
Yeah, there are some areas where they did that. They left it high and then they come back and roll the sod. They've been working on the rolling of the sod for Wednesday and today. They have more work to do tomorrow, specifically on Sunnyside, and then some on Prospect that they didn't complete today. Their plan is to have that work in a fashion they feel that we can go and review by Monday morning. And then our staff, Public Works, and Plody will then walk the punch list we currently have and find out if there's anything left in the deficiencies on Monday.
And they haven't picked up some of the small
There are,
cement?
yeah, there is still work to be
Okay.
done. Their goal is to have the site pretty much ready for review by tomorrow, by the end of this week. They
Yeah.
don't plan on working on Saturday. The Monday, we're all doing the walkthrough, and then we'll have a new list for them to complete by Friday, a week from Friday, November
Okay.
2nd.
Thank you.
Alderman
Thank
Sismarski?
Yeah, before I pass this or not pass it, where do we stand with 346 Oak? The driveway that was stains that they were not able to get rid of?
Yeah, this is the one with the cracked fill material or the sealant material.
Mhm.
They were going to have to replace that apron prior to closing this job out because they can't remove that material.
So they haven't,
Their plan was to try to get all the concrete done today, Anything that needs to be left over, if they haven't completed it today, then tomorrow will be the day they try to complete it.
Keep me in, let me know,
Yes, sir.
keep me up on that.
Mayor, police?
Lou, on, I'm looking at the Woodside homeowners retention results are coming up. We're gonna have money just in case something, because Plody was the
Yeah,
head
sir.
of the project there.
That was our MQ contractor who was doing the water main project. So we have held retention on them. That's actually pretty much the only remaining item on their contract. We haven't done a final payment for MQ.
Oh, because they did
pending
the water
result.
main.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And that's pending the results of that study, then we'll make a recommendation to council.
What about, the guy who was doing the concrete work that got kicked off the job? Was he also part of that?
Now, he was
Responsibility?
working for Plody, and so therefore they're responsible for anything that those guys were doing.
Alderman Lazara?
I'd like to just thank staff, in particular Jeff here, on the way that they handled Murray Road, the repatch job. Jeff made everybody on that street very happy, and thanks for the quick, reaction to that. Thank you, guys.
Anybody else have any further questions? If not, may we take a roll call?
Alderman Woods,
Yes.
Alderman Lazara,
Yes.
Alderman Winger,
Yes.
Alderman Sismarski,
Yes.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Coles,
Yes.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Yes.
Motion carries. Items to be considered at future meetings, Woodside Homeowner Association Retention Pond Test Results in November, Snow and Ice Control Motor Fuel Tax Bid, November, Private Street/Pond Strategy, November and December. Are there any other requests to put something on the agenda? Alderman Shockey.
I do have a question about one of the bills we got from an engineering firm. Doesn't make any difference who the firm is, but we were charged $15,394, and we got a list of the engineers and their staff who worked on the project. But then there's another charge here for payroll and overhead for $24,551. It says in here 159.48%. What I don't understand what that is, and can we get can we get a better breakdown of what that payroll and overhead is? Or is that just part of the contract, or what?
Lou, you want to take the question?
Yeah, I think I could answer this one. What the initial wage rates you're seeing are basically the monies that are being paid to the individual employee. So that's their wage rate. So each individual staff member they list there, they get paid a certain amount of money. Let's say it's $20 an hour. That's their wage rate that the company is paying them. Then that 159.48%, that's sort of a markup on top of the wage rate. That's the overhead rate of the firm. So that covers their buildings, electricity, their insurance program, their retirement program. And so what happens, this is in regards to a job that's like going through IDOT or through the state. The state audits each firm each year, and they determine an acceptable overhead rate based on their expenses. We send them into the state and get them checked. So the state establishes what that percentage is. Each firm's got a different one, and it changes each year. So in this case, that firm's got a 159.48 that they mark up on top of what they're paying the employee, and that takes care of basically their overhead for their, like I said, their buildings, retirement plan, insurance plan, and the like. Does that make sense?
So it's actually part of the contract, then?
It's part of the contract, yeah. That's a cost, what they call a cost plus fixed fee job. So the job is paid out at the actual wage rate that they pay the employee, marked up by the overhead rate that's approved by the state, and then there's usually a profit or a fee component as well.
And 160% is normal?
It's reasonable. I think our firm is 155, 155, it's reasonable.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
We're done. 35 minutes? No, we were 25 minutes.